I was like, I'm not down with OPP, but since I've been putting this spirit on myself for so long as a youngster.
Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. Well, if you guys rock with me every Monday, you know how I do. I tell you something about our special guest. But if you're new to the platform, come check us out and find out what Message Reveal is all about. So let me tell you about my special guest. One, he is your neighborhood friendly designer. Ooh, we can't wait to find out about that. He's also a podcaster of The Pot. And last but not least, he's a painter and he also dabbles in multiple creative disciplines. So you guys, please put your hand together and welcome my special guest, Big Bobby B. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Thank you for inviting me on this wonderful platform. I'm honored.
You are more than welcome. Thank you for saying yes. You can be doing anything else on your Friday, but you say yes to me, so I appreciate you.
You were cutting into my pizza time,
Oh, well, listen, we're going to get through this and then you can get right back to your pizza time, okay?
Absolutely.
So before we get started, can you just tell our audience, my audience, a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. I am Bobby Burris from Dallas, Texas, right outside of Dallas, Texas. I am a full-time creative person. I do spend about 6 hours a day working with children, but outside of that, I'm creating something. I'm working on an active album right now with a clarinet player named Bro. I'm excited about that. I produce music, but I don't have any rappers. So this whole album would be just me, a big mask, a dancer, clarinet player, no rappers.
Wow.
I just got out of clothing season. I think you were at it was the second to last fashion show for the season. Um, this jewelry season now. I'm back teaching classes starting on Wednesday at Silverado Ranch.
Oh, nice.
Workshops for the next 8 Wednesdays there, and then I'll shift to something different. Still teaching there, but yeah, I spend time 2 hours a day I devote to each one of my crafts. Now we've been moving the past couple of weeks, so it's been a little bit testy, but yeah, 2 hours a day, make jewelry, sew, create music, write.
Awesome. Well, I did say you did multiple disciplines, so that's definitely a forecast of who you are. So before we even go into that, we talked about I met you originally at a black tie event, and during that black tie event, you showcased some of your stuff. When I say stuff, some of your designs. And one of the designs I told you I really, truly enjoy, and I'm trying to get him to actually allow me to purchase that, but that's a whole nother conversation after we get off. So let's just get in. You reference to yourself as the neighborhood friendly designer. Where does that come from, and how did you get into designing?
That tag, I don't know where it came from, maybe from Spider-Man or something. I just started saying it in a couple videos and I just hadn't stopped. I got into designing when I was young. I went to Ross. We used to travel to Dallas from Lubbock, Texas when I growing up to visit my uncle. It was like a 6-hour drive back then before the speed limit went to 75. And there was no Ross in Lubbock, but we would go every year and I loved it. I found these pair of shorts there. They had this like leather. It was tan, burgundy, yellow, and orange leather pieces sewn on the front. I was like, these shorts are amazing, man. It changed my mind. It changed my whole life. Never
Wow.
seen, so I was like, this is dope. And I kind of fell in love with closing. A few years passed. We moved to Dallas, Texas, from West Texas, and I just started making stuff up in high school, getting laughed at. I didn't care. I had like this jersey I made. I had my mom sew it for me, but I designed it, and I put my nickname really big on the back of it. This wasn't a thing to do. It was a baseball jersey too, so it wasn't a thing back then. But I got so clown. I did not care. I love this jersey, so I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, and ever since then, it's been my thing. Just doing exactly what I feel like doing and expressing myself through how I feel like expressing myself through my clothing. So,
I like that. I like that you had a shield. How many people do you and I both know that comes up with a idea and present it to the world and they're rejected and they never talk about it again, they never do it again. They keep it so close to their heart that when they leave this physical universe, they never get chance to talk about those things. What made you say, you know what, forget what they had to say. I'm still going to love, and you're still in that energy and area of that. What was that?
I started studying certain artists um, that I know as a creative person and being somebody who kind of feels people. I noticed these artists didn't necessarily think what they're doing was super dope. I just started studying those people, and I noticed what they did have was just resilience. They never stopped, no matter how JJ Fish and stuff sounded. They continued to go. And some of these people we really look up to, today, like some of the greatest artists, and their stuff, their artistry really wasn't the best artistry individually, but they put it with like their other things and made just one big massive ball of great art. So yeah, I have like a list of people that I can say that fall into that category that I believe are really great people. But if you kind
Provide me with a few of those great people.
Keanu Reeves is one. Um, Adam Sandler would be another person who are just really great people. But at first, if you watch them incorrectly, you wouldn't think they were really doing art. You wouldn't think they knew what they were doing unless you study them. You kind of see what they're really doing. Um, Singers that I know that I've always enjoyed that were this way. I think Michael Jackson would have fell in that category. Like he was great at what he did, but like as an individual and like one particular thing, it's okay. It's like he's a great dancer, but Chris Brown can outdance Michael Jackson now, and probably can out sing him. But he was dope for what he did, and I appreciate all the doors that he opened by being himself and not backing down when people said that this wasn't good or you don't like this. Pharrell, he would have been another artist who came out and then had to like dial back and wait 5 years to re-release what he tried to come out with before. People weren't ready for it. He was too advanced. When it wasn't loud enough for the people who started listening to everything at a different LUFS. So now it's not 17 or point -14. And back then it was getting way loud. They're doing -18 or negative it was 10. It was getting so loud, and then people started. They had to make a regulation to dial it back -14. But Pharrell was already in his pocket, and people didn't hear it. They weren't ready for it because people were doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
I see people.
So those are some of the people that have influenced you and maybe just kept you on your path because you're like, if they did it, I can do it. Correct?
Yeah, it's like if I see these people doing it and they're comfortable in themselves, why can't I be comfortable in me and be accepted somewhere? Like I think
Yes.
people that quit, they think that they think they present it to the world and they give up, put it in a closet, but they really just present it to a couple of haters.
Oh,
Members, that don't really know them, but they're close enough to kind of see what they think they're doing, and then they give up based on those couple of people. And it's like, man, you need to go outside the porch where like the real consumers are who just want to buy cool things. It's not necessarily what it is so much or who's doing it. It's something different. I appreciate it. This person seems to have a pretty good record. I want it.
yeah. I just have to say this. You're talking to someone on this platform that's watching right now that has presented a piece of art in some form or fashion. And the key words you said, you probably presented it to a couple of haters, but it's somebody outside of your normal realm that would see it and say, it's amazing. So we want to encourage them to continue to move forward and not let one thing that may have happened to discourage them. With that being said, this season right now we talk about love. Can you identify something that you forgot about the love and the love has brought you back?
Hmm. Flowers. I painted flowers through high school to kind of have like peace and to get away from all the. I didn't like school at all. It was just too much talking, too much everything. So I needed something to get away from that. Back then, I was painting flowers. I thought I was. I don't know. I met this girl in art class, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I might have somebody to collaborate with, and it's cool." And nah, she got me jumped in the alley. Yeah,
What?
after a ride home, I was turning. She got me jumped in the alley. It was terrible. Didn't see
Mm,
her. Didn't paint another flower after that either. It was
really? Because
very
that was associated with that moment.
yeah. And I just went to a contest, the state contest, and yeah, I was done. I what was this about 2 months ago? Was teaching a class at Silverado. There was a paint like you class, and one of the students brought a calendar with flowers in it, and I was like, "Oh, it's cool. Let's paint this one." I painted them flowers so quick and so easy,
Wow.
effortless, beautiful, without like any. It looked like I did layers, like I did like the black first and waited 2 hours for it to dry, then came back and didn't. I was really impressed with my ability to come right back into that flow, and I needed it at that time because whenever you're always creating, you don't feel like you're doing anything. I don't personally. I don't know if anybody else feels this, but whenever you're always coming up with something, you don't really feel like you're doing anything until the right person sees you. So
Mm.
I needed that boost. I needed that creative reminder that yeah, you got this, and this is what you do.
So so that is a really, for me, a great example of something that you forgot about the love and it also brought it back. And that's life. Sometimes we have dabbled in relationships, we've dabbled in travel, different things, and we're like, we have an experience, and it's like, I'm not messing with that no more. And then as time has gone past, we realize I still have a connection to it. I still have a love. And like a flower, you begin to open it up and explore it. So those things that we sometimes forget about can really be a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just going to bring this up. The spirit put it on me, and you can tell me whatever you think regarding this. I understand you're a Pisces, correct?
Okay, I'm more Pisces, or the Pisces consider they are going on.
One of the things that they talk about Pisces, you guys kind of live in your own world. And I say that my daughter is a Pisces as well. But one thing about Pisces that really, really, truly intrigued me, a lot of times people think they're sitting quiet, they're not paying attention, they're asleep, and you guys will go into this other world. And all of a sudden, when you're back, you have like this plethora of knowledge. Like, nope, I heard this, I said this, and you begin to be creative. Can you tell me a little bit about that, or is that just my perspective on that?
Absolute truth, and I think that when like I said, I've always been creative. But you start walking through life and realizing that I might need to do this to make money, or you step into situations or holes that make you have to do things and make money. So I started creating for myself a new career in security, and I I did this, and I'm like, I'm going pretty far. You know, I'm working for celebrities and doing all these things, and I had this client that I was working for, and we're at a nightclub. And he wanted it's just him and I. His wife just passed, and he really needed like emotional. He needed somebody to be there to protect him to keep him from doing something crazy.
Mm.
And, we're at this nightclub, and he got two Magnum bottles. I don't know if anybody knows what Magnum bottles are, but it's like a $300 bottle that you get it for. It's like $600.
Oh, wow.
Two of those, just us two, and I'm like, man, I don't really. All right, but I'm here to protect this guy and look at this dude, be his buddy. So I mean, I entertain. I end up getting a little bit too toasted off of one drink, but half of one. I'm like, man, this is too much for me. Somebody came up and stole my jacket. I had no idea this happened. I didn't see him. You know, I'm just entertaining this guy and watching ladies come by the table. Nobody really stopped, but there's just a lot of traffic. And we were visiting here in Vegas.
Mm.
It was a really big crowd. There's about 2,000 people in this place. 30 minutes later, I'm kind of like just sitting here pondering on my jacket. I make a beeline towards this one group of people, and they're walking out the door. They drop my jacket on this piece of wood, big wood block, and leave.
So somebody just dropped the jacket off.
And I beeline towards this group of people out of all these 2,000 people in this club. And I knew exactly who took my jacket, did not see it, none of that. So I absolutely believe what you're saying is true. This is how we were created to flow. This is how we were created to filter out everything else in society.
Mm-hmm. I just believe you guys operate in the physical and the spiritual, and sometimes it's simultaneously. And because of that, people do not get it. Like you're literally talking to me, but you also can be in the spiritual world processing some things. But again, that's just my perspective. I have multiple friends and a child that's a Pisces. So as I learn those things, I'm like, oh, okay, I see you. I see what you're doing.
It's a wild life when you start recognizing it.
Well, it's blessing. We all are born with certain blessings and certain talents. So that's what it is. So I love music. Okay. Music has turned me all the way out in a great way. I say all that to say, can you identify a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or provided lessons? But before you answer, there's a couple of rules to this. If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out, sir. If you can rap, I need you to come hard in the paint. Yes, yes, yes. But last but not least, if you can't do either one of those, I need you to say it with passion. You know, when they talk about in the streets, stand 10 toes down. That's what I need to be able to feel it. So I'm going to go back to my original question. I need you to provide me a song that has either provided blessing, distraction, or lesson.
Man, I start with like distraction.
Okay.
Or is this all one song?
No, you can do one you just can do one distraction, lesson, or blessing. You can pick one and provide a song.
Okay. Let's see. End of the Road by Boys to Men. Such a distraction from my life.
Okay.
Sends me to one of the most negative feelings I've ever experienced. And I don't know, every time I hear it, yeah, I feel the same. I'm in the same room. It's the same tone. It's the same disappointment. It's like, golly.
Wait a minute. Okay. Why does the end of the road, you got to give me a little bit more on that. What was it? It sounds like a trigger song.
100% a trigger song. That's like my first dance to go to in school, grade school. All my junk seems to like trigger around not being accepted by girls. I think most men would be like, yeah, that's probably it for me, man. I thought it was cool, but nah. But I was at this dance. I'm like, all right, it's my first dance to do. It's at like a church, school had like a field trip to the church or whatever. Like it was a dance. This song comes on. I asked the girl to dance, and the rejection was just it's cold.
Mm. What she say? No, like that, or
Just I think I may have blocked the exact words out, but I could see the place. I could see the lighting, parking lot. I can still see the whole place, man. It was just the worst feeling.
oh
I
wow.
worst feeling because I felt like I felt the space was one of those spaces that everybody was included. And if you have
Mm.
like, you know, since this is a dance, you want to dance, ask somebody and they'll be like, all right, cool. I think it was one of those rejections that happened in front of the girls.
Oh, so it took it to the next level. It wasn't just you and her, it was an audience. So that's another layer to it.
You're done in front of all 16 of these girls or however many was there. I don't know.
Wow. Well, I don't want you to relive that anymore. So we're going to go on to another part. We're going to talk about music. So many times music has taken me away and I've sung it. I was like, yes, yes. And then one day I say, wait 1 minute. What I was singing about is not what the song is about. And all this time I never knew. Can you identify a song that you've been singing the majority of your life and you became adult or mid-teen? You was like, wait a minute, that's what it's about?
Yeah, I had a lot of songs in the 90s that were just the hit for me. Like, you down with OPP? Yeah, I said
Oh,
ever until I realized what that was. I was like, I'm not down with OPP, but since I've been putting this spirit on myself for so long as a youngster, I'll see like why not? It took correction to come out of that idea, that whole, you know, mindset from building those grooves in my head of listening to the same junk and thinking that it was something cool, not knowing that he was talking about other people,
people's property or other people's, yeah,
they've been doing this stuff forever in music. There's
yeah,
so many that were about open, you know,
relationships, yeah.
saying stealing from people. And it's like, man, we just play it out like it's a thing. And
Well,
I want that hit me really, really
I
hard.
think it's a combination of things. So I'm going to be honest. The first thing that gets my attention is the beat. I'm like, ooh, yes. And then when I have a little time, I start to listen to the lyrics. Now I've become more mature in my listening ear that I'm like, wait a minute, what are they talking? Oh, that's not, no, okay, I got to shut that down. But I think we're all guilty of it. And that's the thing about music. Music can be used in many facets. I believe in the future, music and sound will be for healing. When you have a broken heart, you can go here and listen to that. I mean, that's what I use: counseling, encouragement, to have fun. Music can heal all of those levels of where you may be or may not be. If you need to be encouraged, come on, you got a song for that as well. So I love music, and I think music is what you make of it. And if it does not benefit you, you need to leave it alone and find something else that does.
Yeah. It's hard though. Like, you say that it's hard to find as someone who makes music, like your space whenever your stuff is just a little bit. I can imagine how Kanye felt for so long
Mm,
trying to pocket, like he knows what music is for and what it was for him, and how would he know that making it for what it is for him would reach so many people? Like, what does it take to get to that level? I purposely frequency or tune my music to healing frequency. So I'm
mm,
healing frequency. Um, I don't know how many artists do that, but yeah,
I love that.
to that. Like, since everything is so recycled, the word, the lyrics are so recycled. it would make more sense for music to go in the direction you say with being purposely made and driven towards healing or whatever people think it for.
But I do think it's going to be a great divide. You're going to have the stuff that resonate with one group, and then you'll have some that's seeking something else. I say this on my podcast all the time. Whatever you do frequently becomes your frequency. So whatever your frequency that you're attracting because you do it all the time will be beneficial for you. If you in them streets and that's all you doing is listening to something that's not beneficial for you, then you're attracting that energy. So I think it's very necessary that people understand that they are the manifester. So whatever they let in eventually has to come out. So with that being said, let's talk about your runway and heads on the runway. Where did that come from? How did you come up with that concept? So tell me whatever you want to tell me regarding that.
TVs.
Yes.
I got called to do runway shows while I was making jewelry really heavy. I've been doing jewelry for a while now, about 11 years probably.
Oh.
I got some really good play. Like I went to a show, and Jay Bolin turned me on to his buddy, who was Kirk Franklin, and he put me on the Kingsman's tour, and I got a really good run with that.
Wow.
And, yeah, it started like giving me more social buzz and everything. I got asked to be on a runway. I'm like, man, I make jewelry, man. So I did it, and I needed something to bring me attention. So I started gutting out all those old TVs and painting them and doing all this stuff to them, make a mask out of them. I think my first show I had like 10 bottles in TV. First one outside of my own thing, big TV. It's all kind of crazy, and I'm like, man, this is really cool. I like this. And I went back and studied after doing this. About 8 years later, I saw an old image of a Basquiat photo shoot. He was somewhere, and he made a fake TV out of a cardboard box and tape. But I knew what he was trying to do, and I saw this 8 years after I started doing this. I saw this image. I knew what he was trying to do, but back then, if he would have tried to do that, it'd be too expensive. You ain't about breaking no TV to make a mask out of it. So like, now I can do what he wanted to do, not knowing that I was doing what he wanted to do with that. And that got me on the runway, and I just started making my clothes again from high school. Same idea, but just more knowledge. I sew now, and yeah.
Wow. I think that's amazing. Can you just share with us a little bit of your process when you start to create for your designs and your clothes, how you kind of match up patterns or how it kind of comes to you, if you don't mind sharing that?
Yeah, I try to do like try to find like three things, like maybe an old blanket, shirt, pair of pants, or something that kind of looks similar, that kind of can flow together. I start building from that, then I add other things. So the way I can spread those three pieces amongst like 6 to 8 different pieces of clothing. People probably won't see it unless I tell them at a show, but yeah. So that's my process. I find like 2 or 3 things I like, and then I just start building from that, however many units I need. So
And then, I'm sorry, you combine those patterns and those things, and it seems to be, and it's just my perspective, you don't just build one thing, you build multiple things, maybe off of one particular pattern. Am I correct with that?
well, I'll say I bought a jacket, like an old jacket I liked, old blanket. I would cut those pieces up, make a pattern. So I would draw my own pattern up or whatever. Sew those pieces together, lay the pattern on those pieces, and then make another pattern, but keep those pieces and add more pieces to that, then build another piece off of that. So it'd be like I build a pattern for like this long jacket I got on, And then I build another pattern for a pair of pants, but still
Mm-hmm.
use all the materials just so I can kind of keep them cohesive.
Mm.
I ended up in like some sort of gallery or something, like everybody turned in their stuff. So many years from now, people would be able to see the, you know, progression throughout them. But sitting on the show, probably wouldn't notice right off.
Mm. I like that you said progression. I think that's what it's called. Well, you say progression, I say growth, potato, potato. I think that's I think that's what life is all about. I hope I didn't throw you by saying that, but you know, that's what it is. So I do have to talk about this one particular quote, and I'm gonna look it up on my phone that you talked about. It was a painting, and you let's talk about Olay World. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Orlá Worldwide, Orlá.
Yeah, Olay Worldwide. So on this particular platform, you talked about, and I'm not going to pronounce it because I do not even know how to pronounce it. I'll say this is blah, blah, blah from the planet blah, blah, blah. He was in search of a new atmosphere and a civilization for his people to continue the mission. Art isn't competition, it's a lifestyle. Olay. Tell me about that.
Man,
And the painting was dope, but the message along with it took it to the next level.
I honestly don't remember this painting.
When we get off, I'll send it to you. I'll shoot it to you so you can see. But what was the words that I expressed? What was the planet? Because I couldn't say the name first. The person had a name.
I do remember the painting. There's three parts to that. Forgive me. Yeah, we saw that one.
Yes, I thought it was dope.
Appreciate you. Yeah, that's for an artist named Narcotic. He's a dope, dope lo-fi producer. Amazing cat, man.
Say his name again.
Narcotic,
Narcotic.
narcotic, not narcotic, but narcotic.
Narcotic.
KCQ. Yeah, because yeah. So yeah, he asked me to do that for one of his album covers. All his album covers have a spaceman on it. So I did that. I made up a whole language, a whole alphabet before I did the paint. So I got a book with that alien's whole alphabet in it. He can write forever. Yeah.
So I think that's great, but I still need to, I just can't let you get away. I need you to express to me, it says art isn't a competition, it's a lifestyle. Talk about that. Talk about why you even put that in form. What is it that you have experienced where people have been competing instead of doing what's in their heart, maybe? Talk about that.
We got another 2 or 3 hours.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have 2 or 3 hours, but sum it up for me as much as possible.
When people like study other artists well enough, they can see what other artists are really doing and how they're really making moves. Most artists think that jumping on the team of whoever they think is hot is going to get them seen, and they don't have any vision or any purpose or anything they want to do with their art. They just want to be seen by somebody. That statement speaks to people that know how to work together, make a bond together, and just go forth with it, regardless of all the differences. That I don't agree with what you say, or I don't like the way you paint, or none of that stuff matters. The purpose is getting the assignment done. Like Painting Friday, he had to go through all these different people and different personalities and this and that in his mind first, and then he had to walk around the streets and find people that matched it to make this whole project work. If Felicia said, I'm not going to do that, I don't want to play the, if that woman said, I don't want to play the role of Felicia, I don't want to do that. That line wouldn't have been that movie. That wouldn't have been one of the most known and recited lines in all culture.
You're talking about Friday when
Ice Cube, yeah.
Yes.
All the little things that he put into that movie, as all greats do, become like pop culture, and they become things that people remember forever. And that only happens when other artists just decide to jump on the boat and just go along the ride, regardless of what they think creativity is or whatever they think is funny or whatever. None of that stuff matters. But if people don't get on the boat and know that first, then there won't be any projects or anything going forward. Then people can't create. People continue to compete with each other. And I think it starts. It's the competition part is the reason why they can't get along. Why people can't get along in the first place creatively. Like I know singers who are really good singers, but they be better together, but they won't get together because they look at each other like, "Oh, you sing this way, and I can't get along with you, or you might be a little bit better than me, so I can't." And I watch this stuff. I know people that do it personally, and it's so sad because I can see exactly where they could be, and from their conversation where they should be, and they won't be because they won't click.
They won't let their guard down.
They guard down and just click on the art instead of on their feelings and whatever they think.
Yeah. I think that is true in life. Like whoever is doing it, they have to be able to provide a vision. I think Ice Cube, and this is just my perception, when he began writing and doing his things, the people that he approached had to believe in him because if you think about the first Friday, they didn't get paid a lot. It was considered low budget. People didn't believe. He took his vision and brought it forth. But when you're creating, the people that support you have to believe in you to begin that creation, my perspective.
People like now it's so hard to find people that actually will just believe in you and watch this and know where you're going. Like they just knowing God got something for you by the way you're moving already and seeing things. It's so weird now. I don't know how to speak to that.
Well,
Everything's
I think some of it has changed the landscape when a lot of people were in the house for COVID and that social emotional wellness piece is slowly coming back into play because people are so into this instead of looking and having a conversation with, face to face, that social piece. But I would encourage you, just like I encourage myself, keep going. And as you go through, you will encounter the people that you know needs to be in your, I say, tribe or village, so to speak. So, with that being said, let's get back into music. I know you laughing at me, but I really feel how I feel about music.
That's what I'm telling you.
Can you identify a song or an artist that you had the opportunity to purchase all on your own? Like, could nobody tell you nothing? You like, oh my gosh, I love this song. You didn't care what anybody had to say, whether you had Christmas, birthday money, and you was like, this is what I'm purchasing without anybody's influence. Can you tell me?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad is a super well back then he was super hard nosed, but he's a hard nosed Jamaican cat trying to make it. So he was just really mean to us about a lot of stuff. We couldn't listen to nothing at all. We had to sneak and listen, so I think that's what makes up something better. I we got like some edited soundtracks growing up, and then when I was able to go buy tapes, I went and bought LL Cool J's something.
I can't hear you say that again. LL Cool J, what?
Around the world. It was an
Okay.
edited single tape. But when I first started buying music on my own without any influence and wouldn't listen to nobody telling me no, was Master P's uh, releases every Tuesday. Like I would get his early album releases every single Tuesday from Sam Goody Music.
I remember Sam Goody music.
I don't care if the music was good or none of that. It's like I'm just gonna get another album because they're colorful, uh, because he's consistent, and he got a lot of people on his team. I'm just gonna buy these. So I started buying them joints. My brother and I would listen to them, and most of those albums are so garbage sound wise. You can't find them on Apple Music, you know. But it was it was great nostalgia. It was good. It was a good thing to be a part of for me.
Wow. Wow. Do you listen to Master P now?
Nah,
Oh no, no. But as that childhood, that's the connection because you had the opportunity, as you say, to sneak and get it. And you also, I know we're still talking about music, but you mentioned that your father was Jamaican. What part of Jamaica did he come from? And do you think because he had, I hear this often that when someone comes over because they had to make a lot of sacrifices, they're very stern. It is very one way or the highway. What do you think about your father's sacrifice to come here to America?
I think that that sacrifice that he pulled and made, it's a matchless sacrifice. It's I don't know how many people can really do what he did. It takes so many years to make it right. You know, like I've been to Vegas 5 years. Last week we been here, and I have my daughter, my mom, sister here, and it felt real different. I couldn't imagine how he did that. All it was man. So I think I don't know what type of strength that was for him to sacrifice that for me to be born here in the States to do what I was supposed to do. But I know I don't want to waste anything. I don't waste anything because of how hard it was for him to make it work.
Yeah.
How much it worked.
Have
So
you ever sat down with him and had a conversation? Sometime when our parents are very stern for us or to us, we kind of feel some type of way. But have you ever had a conversation with him, if you don't mind me asking, or it can be to say, I understand the things that you had to go through in order to get to this spot.
not so much that, but because of the absence, he had to do so much, being gone and working and this and that just to maintain. I let him know that I needed more of him than I did all the money and all these things. And I felt like he kind of let me down a little bit because he was so absent. I think I made a mistake in saying this, but I was how I really felt. And he got like sick afterwards. 6 months,
Mm,
his cancer was. They say the numbers was like so high. It's like higher than 4. But I mean, full food, all his treatments, he's been back to work. Wow, wow. All of that stuff 2 years ago just kind of messed me up. Then he has all the big sacrifices he made for me. And I was really trying to get that out correctly.
and how's your father doing?
Pretty good, a lot stronger. Still driving to Dallas to do work. He's on the way
Wow.
to Dallas Tree. But I
Wow.
did tell him that I think afterwards we sat down and we talked. I told him that before he got sick, after he started healing, he said, conversation.
Hmm. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Years. That's my first time having real conversations with him right
Hmm.
after.
Wow. I think it's necessary to visit those things and also to understand that, and I say this all the time on my platform, we're not just parents, we're also humans evolving and learning lessons in the midst of being parents. And sometimes children will assign only a parent role to adult that's learning life. Does that make sense? So I say that to say, I understand you have a daughter, correct? How is your relationship with her, and are you open on your perspective with her and allow her to express herself to you?
Our relationship is strained. I'm always here for her. I totally keep a door policy with my daughter. She's influenced by too many things.
Mm. Well, just keep the thought elevated. Sometime it is a process, meaning they have to live a little bit more life, and then they come to you and say, "Oh, I get it. I had influence that told me this, and I had no idea." So we're gonna bless that situation. Before we move on, I want to talk about one last thing that I saw on your page, and it seemed to make you smile. So hopefully, before we get out of here, you'll really smile about this. The cigar culture, and you're making the boxes for that. Tell me, how did you get into that?
Oh man, that's Marcus Tennille. He, yeah, he's the guy. Marcus Tennille, man, he's the man. My cousin turned me on to him before I moved here. So when I moved here, I connected to him. I was like, I got to meet this guy. So I connected to him. I met him at a cigar bar. And kept meeting him at cigar bars. And he started asking me to make boxes for his buddies. And his buddies are cool people, Cedric the Entertainer. I think I did one for a Raiders NFL player last summer. I don't remember his name.
Wow.
Did one for it was another one of his celebrity buddies in between that. He's had me do a few different boxes. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I make all these boxes for my jewelry. So with him seeing that and then asked me to do cigar boxes, I really wanted to chase like a bigger contract with that.
Yeah.
There's more fancy material, better locations. I know it comes. I just
Yeah.
felt to get into that. I feel like John Barbados, like I get to delve into different art forms, my art forms in different rooms and different places.
Hmm.
Maybe art or something.
So, how do you feel when you take a puff of the cigar? What do you release with that? Is that any worries? Is it any distractions? How is your peace of mind? Because you say you love the culture of cigars. How does it elevate your peace of mind?
I think it elevates my peace of mind being around other men doing something that's not like doing the football. Even if we're talking about it, we're not in that space. The relaxed space, stinky, you know, it's a free open space to just kind of let out. I feel like the puff part taste a little bit of life, taste a little bit of experience, you just let out. And I feel like cigar culture is that same kind of energy.
Mhm. And I think that's very important. Just like women, we get together and we can, I say, help solve each other's, like, oh, okay, well, what about do it like this? I think men need to have that same kind of leeway. I was listening to a podcast, and the lady had mentioned, because we do that, it's a frequency that really takes women to a higher level, and it encouraged long life, it encouraged solution, whereas men, they may not necessarily do that because they feel other men are judging them or tell them they don't know, so they may have an issue, but they may keep it close to their heart for the fear of the other men around not believing or think that they are not, a manly man because they're expressing themselves. Have you ever felt like that?
Yeah, I feel like most men, we're honestly more like more like animals, more like dogs who are pulled away from their parents and they
Mm.
live in another environment. I feel that way because we seem like we operate in more fear than women do. Y'all have like I even noticed like how my wife deals with uh, workers and everybody else who comes over, people knocking on the door. We because of trauma and everything else, we have a natural ring of fear first in that sense where we're like, oh, I'd rather just pull back and just not talk to some guys because I'm not sure how they're gonna handle it. And the reason why I'm not sure how they're gonna handle it is because the guy who I thought was gonna be the one who I would talk to, I need somebody to talk to if I learn how to handle it, disappeared when I was 12. And then I went to an uncle and then they disappeared when I was 17. So I'm watching all these different people get pulled away like dogs getting pulled away from their family and raised in some other home.
Mm.
And I feel as a man, we don't naturally feel safe to let out like that because we don't have as many examples around, I think. There's always an auntie around. There's always a grandmother around, always a mother around. But an uncle, grandfather, father, not really. So there's not really much space for safety for many men who don't have that strong fella to tell, man, it's okay for you to put your chest out a little bit. They're not gonna punch you, bro. Out a little bit, man. They're not fixing to do nothing to you. But because we step outside and brother we know got pulled over by the cops and didn't make it home, or because we go here and the brother we know gets shot in front of a gas station, or because we go here and the brother we know gets kicked out by his wife, he doesn't know why, she doesn't know why, they just did it. You know, the kids are all looking crazy. We don't have much security in that, I think, as a whole. I don't know. I feel like it might be changing, but for the past 20 years, 30 years, we haven't. I haven't seen it.
Speaking of that, if I can jump in and say you have created a space for men to talk about things with the pot. Talk just a little bit about that. And it seems to be men that can really be honest and express things. One of the episodes I saw, I won't go into detail, but one of the things the man did say, because you expressed uh, if you were having issues with your wife or something, he told you just to go do something and don't say anything. And the young man that was on there, he was very eloquent with what he said. He said they only knew at the time what to do, and they gave you the best advice that was available at the time. Now we have men that are well aware of their inner heart and is willing to express it and don't feel like they're a simp. It's really beautiful to be able to express yourself. So talk a little bit about your platform with that.
Yeah, I wanted a place personally for me to be able to talk because man, I can. The past 5 years, I felt like just about every man that I've had conversational relationships with, man, I got one guy, my cousin. Well, I got two people, my cousin Brandon and my buddy Biscuits. And every so often, my homeboy Brandon. Pretty much everybody else is out of there. So I don't. I wanted a space where I could talk to some fellas and have them come on and rap with me. And you're trapped in this room, so you can't like bail out. It's 1 hour you got to take. I thought it was. I think it's well. I'm taking a break till March. Re, replanning and you know, reformatting, you know, our guests together. But I think it's well. I think it's a good thing for Vegas. I think it's a good thing for all of us to do little pockets of men, open up a conversation. So that we're not just running over our family, but run away from them because of ignorance.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what it is with the men. They've had the opportunity to distract themselves and do other things instead of actually facing the conversation and digging deep. Because sometimes things are so hurtful, they want to hold it back so they don't cry or they don't lash out. And if they don't get that out, they become a volcano and one day they will explode. And again, this is just my perspective being a grown woman, um, giving my perspective, but also from what I saw, that you provided that space where men can express themselves. So I think that's great. Please tell the audience, I know you said that you're revamping and you'll come back in March, but if they want to tap in and look at some old footage, how can they access that?
But yeah, they go to YouTube, Food for Soul Media Group, the pot. So DAPOT, the real Big Bobby B. Just find.
Awesome. Awesome. Along with that, if my audience wants to tap into anything else that you're doing, whether it's your design, whether it's your beads, whether it's your box that you make for cigars, how can they get in touch with you?
Orlá_Worldwide on Instagram. It's quicker. I think the Instagram is pretty smart.
Okay.
Always catch me. You can catch me there quicker than the website or text, Snapchat. You can find my music on Apple, Deezer, Spotify, or anything under the real Big Bobby B.
Okay, right on. So we'll make sure we also put that down in the description box so people don't have to guess. In addition to that, before we get out of here, if you have the opportunity to dedicate a song to the world that represents pieces of you or all of you, can you share a song with us?
I don't know if I can sing it, but I would say it'd be a song called uh, it's a song by Wilson Phillips. Let's see if I can get this name.
Okay.
Hold On by Wilson Phillips. It's like 1990 something. It's pretty early 90s. It's super 90s. But yeah, the message was strong, and I think that it was good to hear, to rehear as a grown man and listen to these lyrics. Like, man, all right.
Can you give us a little bit of the lyrics? You don't have to sing it if you don't want to. If you could just give us.
Let me see if I can just find it so I can not do that to you.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Express myself.
I'm glad. We have to be able to show all facets of life, I believe. And because of you being honest and expressing yourself, someone's going to say, wow, that's me. Is somebody like me out there? Wow. He does multiple things. I can't hear you say that again.
I hope that person says, hey, let's work together.
Yes. And also, if you don't mind, I need some pictures of some of your collections of designs because I want to put that within so people can see some things you're doing and be able to connect with you.
Okay, okay. Absolutely. I'll message that to you. Okay, I know that there's pain, but you hold on for one more day and you break free from the chains. Yeah, I know there's pain, but you hold on for one more day and you break free from the chains. That's a hook. But just
Yeah.
that hook alone, yeah, this is good. If you don't remember the song, go back and listen to it and let it replay with the knowledge of what they're saying. It's deep.
And say the
I,
name of the artist and the song again.
Wilson, the song's called "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips.
Okay.
That came out in 1989 from Los Angeles.
Right on. Well, thank you for sharing that. Typically, I would say goodbye, but the spirit told me to ask one last question, so I got to do it. I listen, I got to do it. What is your tap in song? Meaning, when no one is around, when your spirit is low, and you say, I got to put this on, and it takes you to the next level. You laughing at me, but we've all been there. What song can you provide?
It's changed over the season.
Yes.
It's changed over the season. Would you like to know the list, or would you want a couple, or just the one I'm doing now?
Whatever you would like to provide.
Okay, honestly, right now, what's taking me there and making me feel all kind of emotions for some reason is a song that I produced called Malcolm Witt. It's about a best friend of mine through high school that I can't find. He last time I saw him, he strung out really bad on drugs. No conversation, just real.
Mm.
Yeah, man, like we hung out. This is my dude. We got like 50 pictures together. We're everywhere. So for him to be this and then this, every time I hear a song, it just takes me there. So
Give us some lyrics of this song that takes you there.
it's just all music.
Oh, okay.
Before that, "Summertime" by Mungo Jerry, only because the song is hilarious. It's like I need this type of hilarious pick me up right now.
I've never heard of that. Summertime by Mongo Jerry. Okay. I can't wait to
Absolutely.
look that up.
You're gonna be like, what?
No. Listen, that's why this platform is from music from your perspective, not mine. I'm here to learn from you. So I so appreciate you coming onto my platform. I appreciate you being transparent and allowing me to dive into your mind a little bit and look at your perspective from your point of view. With that being said, I talk about the journey and the destination. The journey is where we learn and where we grow. The destination is where we celebrate. Far too long, we work, and we forget about celebrating. That's why people, you don't appreciate what you done because you ain't celebrating nothing, you ain't did nothing. You like, hey, we did it. But when the celebration is over, we all should get back into that journey so we can continue to learn and grow and be ready for the next celebration or the next destination. So I say all that. When my women come on, I bow to them. With my men, I salute. So I salute you, sir. And I always give my last words to my guests. Do you have any last words you would like to share with my audience?
Man, stay strong, stay faithful to the people that are faithful to you. And I appreciate you for having me on this marvelous show.
Oh, thank you. You guys, please put your hands together and thank my special guest, Mr. Big Bobby B. Orlá Worldwide.
The Cremation was the best show in Vegas, hands down.
Yes. Look at that's right. Support your wife.
I'm saying she has like singers on there that I think are really cool.
Yes, definitely that. We'll make sure we put a link for her show as well in yours as well. She also has her own show that she's interviewed with me as well. So double the blessings, put it that way.
Great. This is a great format. This is a great idea. This is a great show.
Thank you very much.
This is great.
I appreciate it. So I'll see you later. Thank you so much.